and welcome back to another video. My chair's stuck. Gosh, there is stuff everywhere because I have gone about my studio and my many trolleys around my house to grab a few more bits and pieces to add into my tub. This is part 2, and I think I'll just keep going on with the whole series in parts. So it'll just be continuous creating with stuff, and then at the end of the video I will decide whether it stays or goes. Obviously the oil pastels, the water soluble oil pastels, will be going to Amy. She asked if she could adopt them, and I'm very happy to give those to her. There are a couple of people that wanted them. There were also a couple of people that tried to convince me to keep them, but I think I'm quite happy with my decision to let them go. Now the stuff that is in here are things that I love, but I barely use, and I need to make sure I use them, or it will be time for me to just say, look, we're not using them, it's time to sell them, move on with them. One of them is the Inktense pencils. Now I have quite a little collection. It's not massive, but I bought a tin by hubby ages and ages ago, and then you see these ones with the white tags. They're all the ones that I bought on my honeymoon when I was in a Dipblick, and I was buying them singly. So all these ones I picked up in the US, and as you can see, bar the one that's got a broken thing, they have barely been used. Barely, if at all. So I need to use some of these in the next couple of videos. And the other thing is the Distress Oxides. Now I had the Distress ink pads. No, they're not Distress stains, but they were just the Distress ink pads that are very similar to these. And I had the entire lot. I sold the lot, and then when I saw these, I got a whole heap of these as well. But I still quite like them, and I love them for backgrounds, and I use them in my Japan journal, and that was back in just before April, and I can safely say that I have not used them since. Actually, I know, did I use them in my Japan journal, or did I use the Distress stains? So these are the oxides, and then the red and stuff with the Distress stains, which as you can see are also in this tub. My Distress stains were my ride or die supply with my little watercolor palette back when I was way doing work in my lovely little Midori, and I have quite the collection. Some people said that theirs went off or discolored. I keep mine out of the sun and in a drawer, so they've all been fine. I haven't had a single one go like crappy colored. I think maybe worn lipstick may be the one that would be maybe the most likely to go a yucky color. And yeah, warm lipstick is a bit of a rogue color. I don't even see my picked raspberry in here. Yeah, so warm lipstick is probably the one color that has gone a bit yuck, but I kind of almost really like that color, that sort of off pinky peachy tone. It'd be good to do vintage paper with that. But my picked raspberry, which is my favorite color, is not here. So I have to find that one. I've got my turquoise, I've got scattered straw, evergreen bough. So I will find the picked raspberry because it's my favorite. Do I have one in here? I have more shades, so I kind of just grabbed a couple of shades from my trolley because I was trying not to be so grab all the things. Anyway, they're in there, so Distress stains. And then I also got my acrylic inks, the Muted collection. You guys remember when I got these, and I haven't used them anywhere near as enough. I also bought the Muted collection in the paint as well, and this was because of a recommendation from Roxanne Cobble by Bun, and I still love them, but I don't get anywhere near enough use out of them. So I popped all the muted colors in here. So there's muted turquoise, muted green, muted violet, and muted gray, and the gray is probably my favorite and the one I've used the most out of all the shades. So they are there, and I think The other things were my Tombow markers. Now I have a little collection of the Tombows. They're all upside down because when I was trying to use one a little while ago, the brush tip nib had dried out because I was storing them like that. So now I've tipped them all upside down so that the nib that I actually use, being the brush nib, is the nib that's got the gravity. The ink flow should go to the nib, and I can't even remember which color it was. But the Tombows are there. I may not use all of this stuff in this video, but they are the things that come to mind when I'm thinking about stuff that needs to be looked at and needs to be used or needs to go. So I've still got my scrapbook paper from the other day. I've still got my planner stickers in here. I've got a plethora of stuff on my desk over here that kind of needs to be tidied up a little bit. But I went to the fountain pen show, Sydney's first fountain pen show, on the weekend, yesterday actually, and which is why the video was a touch late, because my week has been ridiculous. Now some of this stuff was in the goodie bags for being the first 100 people through the door, so I didn't actually purchase too much at the convention. So one of the things that we got in the goodie bag for free was a lined Clairefontaine notebook. So it is lined, but it'll be a good little scratch notebook. So that'll be something that I play around with. Leuchtturm did free pen loops when you signed up to their newsletter, so I grabbed a pink one. Oh, this is the Pandora catalog. I actually bought my little boo a Pandora bracelet and a charm for her 10th birthday as a special sort of double digits birthday present. So the girls helped me pick that on the weekend, so I've got that put away, which is why I have the catalogue with me. This was also in the goodie bag, so it is the Blackwing 16.2. One of the limited edition ones, so I add that to my little collection. I did pick up more pink erasers for my Blackwing, and I actually gave Sononi one because she bought a blue, I don't think my blue one's around here, my blue pencil, the blue Blackwing. I actually stick a pink eraser in the top, so I gave her a pink one as I left. So the wind is very extreme. Free washi tape that came in, like I need more washi tape, but it's very airmail themed, so I'll probably put that on some envelopes. I also got a dip pen to try and work with the Copic marker ink that I picked up in Japan, because we've all been talking about how to get white ink, not buying single-use gel pens. So I grabbed myself one of these, but the lady told me to take this off because I am a left-hander. She said I'd have more ease, and I have a little tin of nibs that hubby bought me way back when he bought me I don't know, it was like a calligraphy set. Anyway, so I've got something like that. I also picked up the little Sydney pen show because this is the first one. I didn't buy the limited edition ink. I didn't need it. I didn't think that I would get much use out of it. It was a beautiful lavender color, but I used so much waterproof ink that it's kind of ridiculous. If they had samples of it, I probably would have bought a sample and that's it. And then I also picked up a Blackwing point guard. But that's for when my pencils get a little bit lower, because you know that is getting almost a 30 centimeter ruler status. But I want to put my Blackwings in my pen roll and stuff. And I also thought about my Stabilo, because my Stabilo is getting shorter and shorter, and I'd like to put it in my pen roll, but it makes such a big fat mess. So this was the alternative product, and it's nice brass. It was something that I can use for a really long time. And I picked up these ink cartridges called Super 5, and they are waterproof ink in black, and Sononi recommended these to me because they fit the this baby. So I've got a 10 pack of these, so 5, oh no, there's 6 in each, so 12 of these, and then I'm going to get myself a syringe and re-ink all these. I do have the squeezy Kaweco converter, I just cannot find it, so I thought I'd give these a whirl, grab these, keep my little fountain pen going. And I didn't actually buy a pen at the show because I couldn't find one that I really, really loved, or there weren't that many pink pens at the show at all. I tried to get someone to look at my beautiful mustard yellow VP and see if they could fix it, because there were fixes there at the show, but they said it was terminal. And they were a stall that was selling Vanishing Points, but they could not give me a replacement nib unit. So I am going to be going and ordering a nib unit from Jet Pens because I miss my baby. And speaking of yellow pens, the pen that I actually picked up from the Japanese bookstore was the yellow Pereira. I do have the pink one. Is this taped? Oh no, I was gonna say it's taped. But I grabbed the yellow one to add to my collection. So I'm actually going to fill this one with Urban Grey, the grey ink that I bought from Larry's Post. And I did see Liz Steele at the pen show. I didn't go up and say anything, but it was nice to see her. She had classes at the pen show, in the afternoon, so that will get added to my collection. I just thought a nice bright sunny thing. And we all bought pens at the pen show. Sam bought a beautiful white Pereira, and Sian had to order the Midori pen online because everyone was sold out. And the one other item, or the two other items that I bought from the pen show, was this beautiful little recycled leather pen sheath. They had these at the trade market table, and this one has a beautiful floral embellishment on it, and I've just stuck my Visconti in there, and then that sat quite lovely in the front pocket right there. And I love that it was made from reclaimed leather, so I grabbed that. And the one other item that I actually picked up that I've been searching for ages without having to order them from America was the Fine Tech watercolors, and I only really wanted the one. I couldn't find anyone that was selling a single one, and then Sononi said that she found someone at the show selling, just because I just wanted one of the golds, but it's okay. I think they'll get a lot of use out of them, so I grabbed the whole set, as did Sian, and it'll be fun to have a good little play with these. I've seen great things, they look amazing, and they'll get a nice use. And that is all the items that I bought yesterday. Yeah, so I tried to be very conscious in what I purchased. I tried to think of things that I would use again and again. The ink and the pencil and the pen were all reusable. This was reusable, and my pencil cap was reusable. These, once they go, they can't be reused, but they're going to be around for a really, really long time. I probably wouldn't have, I mean, these were free to add to my collection. I did pick up a little pink floral washi tape, but that was just peer pressure, really. And that's it. So everything, I did try and think very consciously about what I was purchasing. I didn't want all the packaging that came with it, but I couldn't really get away from it. So I tried to look and be very conscious, at least with this sort of packaging, like this little plastic thing that this brooch is in. I can very well put that in my collage thing and add something to it, which I've done before with the coins and stuff from my Japan. Just stick a little trinket in there, so I'm okay with that. Obviously this box is recyclable. So yeah, I was very conscious when I was walking around. I didn't want to buy anything with excess packaging. And what packaging I did have, I tried to find recyclable stuff. So I knew these came in a box, that sort of thing. So I'm still being very, very mindful about my purchases. And I probably wouldn't have taken the goodie bag had I known what was in it. But we also got discount codes for some of the brands, which is how Sian got her Midori pen, and got it for like $15 cheaper than normal because we were through the door early. So trying to be careful. It's really hard, especially when you want to buy all the things. And obviously this I'll keep. I always keep the containers and things like that for my pens. But that's enough babbling. That's enough babbling. But I thought it was you guys would have asked me, and I didn't actually Instagram any of the pen show. It was quite a small one. The Sydney one is obviously the first pen show ever, so it was very, very little, but I hope that they got enough interest to do it all over again. So I had to buy the pin because it was the first one, and if they never do it again, I can say, well, I went to the one and only Sydney Pen Show. It was very, very cute. So yeah, let's get started. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do. I'm going to print a couple of photos out for my journal. I am going to do a little bit of journaling. I've got bits and pieces in here, photographs that I would like to print some photos from the pen show yesterday, or well, journaling and stuff like that. So I will do some journaling. I'll probably do some backgrounds with the oxide, stuff like that. And Sian told me that the Tombows work really nicely on the Cotton MD paper, so I'm going to have a play with that. I've stamped the crane in here. From Muji, when we're in Muji, I grabbed out my journal and chucked a stamp or two in the pages of here. A couple of the stamps that I really wanted to use were all dried up, so, but yeah, that was my big girl. I got a lot of compliments on my journal because I had it in my arms, and the reason why I took it was because Zanoni was trying to work out if she wanted to order an Enoch, so she wanted to feel the leather, so I hulked this beauty to Sydney and back, had it in my backpack. So yeah, I think it was a very successful show, especially when we have such a little community here in Sydney for pens and stuff, but it was really, really lovely, and I hope that it gets off the ground and is something that happens and gets more and more traction. I hope more and more companies get on board with it because it was very limited to who turned up. And Calligraphy Supplies Australia was where I got the Fine Tech and also the beautiful pink dip pen. She was awesome, and the pencil cap actually, although this one's not staying all too well. Here we go, that's better. But yeah, really nice, really nice. Anyway, I'm going to go print out some photos, come back, and I've spent 16 minutes babbling to you about products and supplies, but sometimes you guys like to hear that. But it's time to do some creating with some of the random crap that I've been hoarding. So for the first part of this video, I kind of just create little bits and bobs on spare pieces of card, on tags and things, and that is purely because if I was to put them in my journal and you guys wanted them, scanning them would be a nightmare because I've got that huge hump and it would just be way too hard. I'm using a plastic sheet from a binder that I have lying around, and it works beautifully as a craft mat, non-stick craft mat, so I can just play with those distress oxides and it works exactly like one, and I'm giving it a use other than throwing it out. My craft mat's actually in the dining room, so I didn't want to get up, and this is a way for me to create journal fodder for you and have it so that you don't have to worry about your fountain pens. I know a lot of the time, even me, sometimes when you change the you put watercolors in your journal and then you use your fountain pen, the ink will spread more because it's changed the fiber composition in your on the paper, and so that ink disperses as well. So this is a great way to have watercolor backgrounds and stuff and use your fountain pens because it'll just be a photocopy. So this is my favorite thing to do with the distress oxides. It's just do wishy-washy color and enjoy it and play with it. And I really also love the fact that the distress oxides are beautiful and muted and very, very reminiscent of watercolor. And the one thing I love to do is to do a really muted color background and then grab a distress stain and use it in the same way, which I'm about to do here on this tag. It's all beautiful and washy, and then I get, I think, the Candied Apple distress stain, splash that down, and then I can have a really punchy red accent bit without having to do much work. And I love the look of that, and it means I've got all those muted colors in the background while using my distress stain to give a punchy color. And I learnt this when doing the work in my Japan journal, and I just think the distress stains are still a fan favorite for me, even though I don't use them much. They are such versatile little buggers, man. They're so good, and I will definitely keep them around until I don't have any left. But they are still, if I was to do a top 10 journal supplies, the distress stains would still be in my top 10, even though I don't use them as much as I used to. They were ride or die back in the day. They're still absolutely amazing, and I do really, really love them. Now I am just sort of drying things and getting things all sorted, and then I am playing with my Tombow markers to create a background on the Midori MD paper. Now Sian had told me ages ago, and I'm pretty sure I've already talked about this, but the Tombow markers work beautifully on Midori MD paper. So if you want a washy background without having the mess and the misting and all that sort of stuff, this works just as well. But be very quick with your paintbrush and your water, otherwise you'll get those stroke marks. And then the other thing that I discovered today was that you could just literally paint with your paintbrush on your Distress Oxide pad and use it like a half pen, which is pretty much what I did when I wanted to add some extra green and some extra purple. I went in with a wet brush and I just grabbed some pigment off the top and then painted it straight onto my page. Also, you can stamp your pad onto the paper and then use your brush to spread it out if you don't want to do the whole misting and drag thing. That works just as well. I played around with the Finetec paints just to have a play. I didn't think it was working until afterwards. I actually didn't realize. I was like, oh mom, these are fail. And then I saw them dried and they were beautiful. I'm gonna have so much fun. I only tried the silvery moony glow one, but oh my goodness, they are stunning. No wonder people rave about them. I can't wait to have a play with the gold.
This morning has so clear a light as any to see the horizon and the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a rage. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day to live. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today.
I love this beautiful photo of the lighthouse, and don't get me wrong, it has been edited to the nines, and that is the beauty of those photo editing apps. I had filters over it, I had adjusted the color palette. It is a completely different photo to the one I actually took, and I took it at the end of the day when the light was getting really bad. It was windy and overcast, where it was the complete opposite in the morning, and I barely took any photographs in the morning except for at breakfast. So it teaches me a lesson to take more photos That's the problem. Sometimes I get so caught up in the moment, which I love. I get it. When I'm with the girls, we just chat and we always forget to document things, but sometimes you just get lost in the fun and the friendship of the day. And definitely at the start of the day, it was all about the pen show and getting there early, and the girls having to get up at the crack of dawn to get there because they had to come down the mountain, and because we wanted to get the goodie bag because we missed out on the ink and stuff. So it was an adventure, definitely one that we will remember, being there for the first pen show. And I was getting flustered with just trying to work out bits and pieces, just trying to add things, work out where I wanted things. Playing is part of the process, which is why it feels like, or it may look like to you, that I'm just not doing anything. I'm just placing things here and there. I'm trying to work out where I want things. I want to really just work out what I'm doing, and that's part of my process and something that I like to show you guys, because I don't magically pick everything up and it go down perfectly. There's a lot of meticulous placing and playing until I'm happy, and sometimes I show you that bit and sometimes I don't. More often than not, I don't show you because it would just take up so much time. I've decided to use my Inktense pencils to create like a version of that beautiful pink cherry blossom that has bloomed here in my street. The warm days have tricked the trees into thinking it is spring, even though it's not quite spring yet. And I don't have that many pink Inktense pencils, but I had a couple and it was good enough. And just reminding myself every time I pick these babies up, and I've said this before because I've done forgotten ones with them, or I've done something with them where I reminded myself how much I love these. They are super pigmented and they just are so lovely to work with, but because they sit in my big pencil tray thing that rolls around, I always forget to use them. And so this challenge of putting things in the lunchbox is a daily reminder to use those supplies. And even if you're not doing use it or lose it, if you're feeling in like a creative slump and you're not quite sure what to do, grab 3 supplies from around your studio, put them in a box, add a bit of ephemera and add some stickers, glue and some pens, and then just create with what's in that box. Just limiting your stuff will work wonders for you. I absolutely promise you this. The suffocation of stuff is something I've talked about in One Book July I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago now on my YouTube channel. It is a real thing and you can get overwhelmed by how many supplies you have. This challenge is helping you limit those supplies and even to discover hidden gems in your studio that you've had probably for eternity and barely ever used. So they need a little love. They need to be used, and I think this challenge is a great way for us to remember. I just used the Muted Grey Liquitex ink, again an item that I absolutely love but always forget that I've got because they're in a trolley in the dining room in that little creative area and they don't get seen, and they're in the same section as my PH Martin watercolors, again don't get used as much, which you'll see in the box in another part of this series, because I was looking at them while I got the inks out and was like, damn, I really need to get those out and play with them again because they are also stunning. So even if you're not doing the use it or lose it part of this challenge, get a box. It's kind of like Couch Bag but very slimmed down, and you'll be amazed at what you can create with such a small amount of supplies, because the decision making's taken out of it. You don't have time to make decisions. The decision's done. It is time to just create with the stuff that's in your box. I got a little bit stuck in trying to work out where I wanted everything, because I probably was working with cooler palette and a warmer palette, and like all the pages were all different types of feelings. I did get a bit flustered towards the end of the video. I was trying to work out where everything was going because I had different pictures and the card and cutouts and stuff. I really was wondering, what the heck am I doing? So I just sort of calmed myself down, turned the camera off, collected my thoughts, and just started breathing and putting all the bits and pieces together. I wanted to match the flatbread with the flowers because they were something that happened on the one day, and the idea of just appreciating the small things, like being able to make flatbread from start to finish. And it's a little bit of a feet. I don't do it very often. I obviously will be doing it much more often now, now that we are going package free. If I suddenly want some flatbread, instead of going out to the shops and buying it in packaging, I can cook it from scratch. Yes, it's going to take me a little bit longer, but we have to appreciate the little things, and I think it makes me feel better at the thought of doing that instead of going and buying something easy. It's teaching me patience. This is definitely teaching me patience, and it's teaching me to appreciate things a hell of a lot more.
Just tell me where and I'll come see ya. 'Cause I'm afraid that I'll end up here alone. Hope you'll understand.
Okay, I am losing light quickly since it's very overcast again and the wind is going insane. I am going to leave this part of the video here, and I've actually captured bits and pieces of footage that I've been working on, just generally working in my journal. So I'll probably pop that at the end of this video, and that's just me playing around in my journal and working on it in bits and pieces, kind of like this, but just stuff that I've captured previously. I still have a stack of like odds and ends that I want to put in here, but because I'm losing light, I accidentally cut one of her antlers off, so in the end I cut both off, and now I just feel really sad for her. So I'm thinking of popping her in here somewhere, maybe down here, so you can't see that her antlers are cut off. But I really love adding in the jagged paper and using up like the scraps of washi tape that I have sitting on the side of my desk. So I have like a little strips that I don't use, and then I put them somewhere. So I'm liking this whole idea of patchworking my scraps of washi tape. Gives it a different look. Use the Inktense pencils. Need to use them a little bit more. I find that I had trouble just working out what I wanted to do and use them for. I'm a bit distracted today because I've got like everyone home, and it's the weekend, and I've got all these backgrounds that I'm actually going to scan into my scanner and have these as just watercolor downloads for you guys to print out and have. So sometimes if you really wanted to use a watercolor background but you didn't want to use your fountain pens on it, that sort of stuff, this would be a good alternative. I've still got so many little odds and ends. I'm thinking about sewing this little background piece to the bottom of this tag. I just wasn't quite sure if I wanted to do that or not. I'm just kind of all over the place trying to work out what I want to do, what I don't want to do. This is that bit of paper that I put the Distress Oxides on, but it didn't really take too well. It's very hard to see. What I did enjoy was, and I wasn't sure that it was showing up on camera, is this is the silvery color. There, you can see it there, it's catching the light. I didn't think it was working until it dried, and then I saw that it looked almost like it ate away at the color, and that's this color here. And so I want to play with the gold a bit, and maybe put it around here. Actually, I might do that now while I'm on the hump and it's driving me insane. The hump is killing my life. I'm gonna have to do some morning pages or something just to get through. It's really hard, especially when you're trying to glue things down. So I'm trying to avoid this section as much as possible because stuff is just not holding on the hump because it's on that circular thing. So I'm being super careful. I've just got so many little odds and ends. I don't want to cover up my little crane. Maybe I will add some scribbles around the crane. This is the blue pencil I was talking about that Sinoni grabbed, and then I gave her. This comes with, I think, a black or a white, and I changed the pink in there. I like the look of the crane. So I want to just use my pencil and just add a wishy scribbly border, and then I can go in with my Inktense pencils and add some color to that, maybe in like a brown or something. What color? Where did I end up putting them? They're over here. I wonder what this color will look like. I don't have many blues. I've just realized in those pencils. So I wonder if this is actually going to look very nice or if it's just going to look like crud. Well, all in. Well, it's not too bad. They're opaque enough to be not disgusting. But now it reminds me of bloody Christmas. Oh, and I don't want any reminders about Christmas right now. So let's scrub that out. Let's get a paint pen. I've got so many supplies here, guys. It's just ridiculous. Let's get, I'm trying not to knock stuff over because everything is so precariously balanced. I love this teal color. Because they are pretty opaque, it will go over most of this distress stain. It's not as opaque as I would love, but
how much I need you. Take me back to when we were kids and didn't care if we were acting stupid, 'cause all we had was us. If I close my eyes and think about us, I can see the person I know I should be. 'Cause honestly, I don't have no time to waste. I'm trying to come back to you because now I see we were meant to be.
Alright, I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to go and start cooking dinner for my family, but I will leave the extra footage at the end of the video with no voiceover. It's just me playing in my journal and basically just having fun. Like I said in my Instagram post, I have fallen head over heels for my journal at the moment. I'm really loving how it's going. I am definitely going to be sitting in the lounge room tonight and just writing because I have a lot of spaces that need the writing, that need some love before I get to the end of it. I don't want to get to the end of it and have all these gaps that need just writing. So I'm actually going to fill up my fountain pen with the Urban Grey and do a bit of writing with the Yellow Baby. I also have my Midori pen as well, so that is going to be my night while baking and cooking all the kids' lunches because we've decided to go package free. It's a lot more extra work for me, so I am exhausted by the end of every single night. So that will be it from me today. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. I do have like ephemera from the day, not very much because there wasn't that much to pick up. So I'll probably pop those in randomly, and if I do it on camera I'll show you. If not, you'll probably see snippets of it in the Journal Keeper series. So yeah, that is it from me. Have a wonderful weekend and I will see you again soon. Bye!
You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Hoping you would stay, but I've always known that you would go and find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, to feel the wind and watch the river run. And the sun would always shine when we sat there, you and I. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry. You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just leave it all behind. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.
Gonna stay in this moment, gonna lay here on the grass. I don't need to feel lonely, I am finally home at last. And I don't mind being gone on adventures for a while. No, no, 'cause the best thing about it is I know I'm coming back. Oh, oh. Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true, no matter where I go, I'm coming home to you.
Thank you so much for watching this video and just hanging around to the end. I know a lot of it is me writing, but it's purely what I've been doing a lot of in my journal lately to fill up those gaps as I get closer and closer to finishing my A5 and moving on to the B6. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I cannot wait to see what you use in your use it or lose it, and we will chat very, very soon. Bye!
All I know